How are we doing, Commodores fans? My name is Greg Levinsky, and we're bringing you a very special interview here from atop the Crow's Nest at Gov Fuller Field. We're here with the Cape League president, Chuck Sturtevant. Chuck, we are very happy to have you here to just talk with us a little bit about your role, the Cape League, Coach Trundy, and we know you're a lifetime member here. So first thing I want to ask you is, being a lifetime member of the Commodores, 33 years in the league office and across the Cape League, how much does Jeff Trundy mean to this franchise specifically?
He means a tremendous amount. Jeff has been a friend for 22 years. I hired him as an assistant first, and then in '99 he became my head coach. And he is probably one of the most respected coaches in the entire league. And all the players from years ago, I mean, just love him. And that's all I could ever ask for as a GM.
So what did you see from him when you first hired him way back 22 years ago? And how has he, lived up to or exceeded those standards now?
Well, I think his baseball knowledge in general was phenomenal. But I think what impressed me the most was his handling of the players themselves. And that, to me, has grown tremendously, because he just, when I hear back from many of my former players and so on, whether they're in the major leagues or not, they just love Jeff Trundy, and that's all you can ever ask for.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I was curious about what kind of feedback you've received, over the years, because obviously guys who, even when Coach Trundy began here 20 years ago as the head coach in that role, I mean, there's guys who probably have had successful major league careers that are now retired. How often do you hear from guys, or did you hear from guys when you were here?
Well, I probably get texts every other week from players that played for us, and they're always asking for Jeff. And matter of fact, they wanted his email address and so on. I said, I don't know if he does email much, but here's his phone number too. He does text now, so he's
moving up.
Better. Exactly, but it's unbelievable. And these are major leaguers as well as minor leaguers, and now guys that are out working in the world. So it's amazing.
Now, from the league standpoint, what does it mean to the league to have a coach who's been here such longevity and so well respected around baseball?
Stability. When I first started in Falmouth, 1987, way before you were born and many others, there was only 5 of us on the committee, and we didn't have any money. We didn't have a budget, and as an accountant, I put a budget in place and so on. I loaned it money to get pay for rent and so forth, and it was shaky. But we did well. We ended up, when I retired from here in '08, we had, I think, 28 on the board. We had a bank account, and that stability helps, and it's gone that way throughout the league. I went up to Bourne and did 4 years up there to help them financially, and they're back on their feet, and that stability is what is important for the league.
Now, in terms of Coach Trundy, back to what he means to his players and his franchise, is there a moment or a certain story or thing that kind of sticks out to you in your guys' long-time relationship and friendship?
I think it probably goes to the name of the field here is Arnie Allen Diamond. And Arnie had been an equipment manager for me. And when I started in '87, I gave him a uniform to wear and be part of the team and so on. And when he was sick and dying of esophagus cancer, Jeff made sure he brought the players over to the nursing home to see him and everything else. And when he passed, I think it affected Jeff because it was a friend from all of us that we lost. That, to me, I'll never forget that.
And obviously you've been around Coach Trundy for a while on the diamond, and I know when we go to road games, obviously we have this beautiful press box up here for the home games, but for the road games, we usually sit very close to the dugout. Yep. We can hear Coach Trundy, and I don't think I've ever heard a coach who is more positive with his players, and I think that it's so important, obviously, but when you look at the guys, the teams each year, do you look and see wow, every year these teams seem really pleased with their coaching staff and the players seem like they really want to come back?
Oh, no question. And that's so true with Jeff, because like I say, the guys constantly, when I see them after the season's over, talk to them and so on, they have nothing but the highest regard for Jeff, and that tells you something.
Definitely. And seeing him in his 20th season, it seems like he he's obviously still the same Jeff Trundy in terms of baseball coaching and things like that. How much do you guys talk about maybe even continuing to improve and learn? I know in baseball and everything, and everything in life and your jobs, you always want to get better, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys talk about how maybe, either one of you can get better, or what you guys foresee to get better at things?
Well, and Jeff has, since I became president of the league 3 years ago, Jeff has been tremendously supportive of my goals and trying to work. He's helped me put together the need for doing the infield work that the league has spent now over $250,000 on in the last 2 years. And those are the type of things that can affect a baseball team. You're trying to bring in here 30 top college players from around the country, and you need to give them the best playing surface possible, and that's what we're trying to do. And Jeff has been helpful in trying to spearhead the whole excitement of doing that and going from there.
Where do you see Coach Trundy in terms of some of the other coaches around the league? Is he, incredibly well respected in that realm in baseball as well?
Oh, no question. You talk to any head coach, and they will tell you that Jeff Trundy is probably the number one coach in this league, and I truly believe that too. I'm biased, but I do believe that.
I was going to say, for that being, this being your baby, your franchise, so to speak, and with his longevity here, and I think something that's really interesting is a lot of us interns, we talk about how every time we interview Coach Trundy, before somebody's leaving, he says, I love him,
yeah.
And how that's really important. But with him and these short-term relationships here, right? A couple months, but how do you think he's able to affect these guys so positively?
Well, I think he encourages them. He tells them, he'll be honest with them as to what they need to do to work on their career and to help them. And everything's positive. Everything, if someone's struggling and so on. Matter of fact, way back a little bit when Davis Sims was struggling at the plate, he said to me, Chuck, go talk to him. He showed you a lot of respect coming up to me and so on. And I said, you sure you want me to? And he said, yes. Yeah. So I went to Davis and I said, Davis, you're trying to overdo it at the plate. Relax, have fun. Your strength will carry that ball. You just need to meet it. So don't try and kill it. It's just like golf or anything else. You try and kill that ball, forget it. And now you see what he's done.
2 home runs yesterday, 2 home runs against Katuitt.
I think he's hit.
It's a Chuck Sturtevant magic.
Well, Jeff said to me today, he says, maybe you should talk to each individual player, but hey, it was an observation. I've seen it so many times. And, especially I've never seen so many scouts early on as we did this year. And I think that puts pressure on these young guys that they're nervous. They want to perform, they want to do well. And sometimes you just have to relax a little bit and have fun.
And over the course of your time here, I'm kind of curious on a completely opposite end with, interns and stuff like that. We go to parks and we have, for our team specifically, we have 7 people who come to every road game. Have you seen a lot of growth in that aspect of the league as well?
When I first started, we didn't have any. We didn't have any at all. And I would say it's probably in the last 20 years that it's starting to really grow. And with, of course, the broadcasting's changed. We used to just air audio on the internet. With technology, the way it has changed now, and the league is now getting more involved in, I think 5 teams now we installed new cameras, and the other 5 teams will be next year. And we're hoping to start doing multiple cameras at every field, and the league try and help that, because what we're finding is we're getting calls that if the streaming is that good a quality, there are TV stations that are willing to buy that as fillers and so on.
Absolutely,
so we're looking to help try and do that.
Cape League's always looking to expand, I guess.
You have to.
And that's the last thing I wanted to touch on was, obviously we saw you at Fenway Day as well, and I think that's a really crucial experience for the players, coaches, interns, every one of us. With Coach Trundy, it's conceivably his 20th Fenway year. Do you think that with him getting to bring his players there, and you seeing him. What does that mean to you to see him and his players there once again in that
Well,
America's
before we
ballpark?
actually went to Fenway for this, they used to do Scouts Day at one of the ballparks, and the two teams that were playing, they'd go out and run the 60 out in the outfield and do BP and so on. And it's only been in the last, I think, about 13 years that they've actually had it at Fenway Park. And of course, the excitement for the ball players to, number one, go out on a major league field. You know, maybe the only time they're ever actually out there. And then to look at that green monster and you could see the guys swinging, you knew they just wanted to get it over that wall once, just once.
That's awesome. All right, Chuck. Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here up in the beautiful Crow's Nest on a beautiful day here in Falmouth, Massachusetts. For Chuck Sturtevant, I'm Greg Levinsky. You're watching Commodores Baseball on the Commodores Baseball Network.